Amanda, Ryan, welcome. It's great to have you here. I'm excited to get EY's perspective on what's happening in the AI market at the moment.
We're excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, I'd love to start with you and just hear a little bit about some of the trends you're seeing in the market today, especially around AI.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say that all of our clients are really digging into AI across the board in all dimensions of their organization. When we look at it over the last couple of years, I would say that the major thread was clients looking more at how could they take advantage of AI to manage their cost structures, a lot of pricing pressure with inside their businesses. We're on the precipice right now of that conversation changing to be more of the innovative approach about how they drive top line. So we're seeing a lot more conversations where we're engaged with clients right now to think about the future and how they can actually generate more revenue inside of their business.
That's great. That's great to hear. Amanda, I'd love to hear from you about how you're working with Microsoft to solve some of those customer challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, when we think about the agentic experience, we're actually going on that journey with their customers from that start of the agent assisting the human all the way to that autonomous agent part. And we're having to handhold them through some of that, of course, as they get comfortable with that. So there's some basic programs that we have put in place around everyday AI, really thinking about how AI is going to help at the base, and then, moving into the role-specific areas. And that's what I really like about what Microsoft is doing, right? They're thinking about that persona, because we think about humans at the center at EY.
That's great.
And how can we really help that individual do their job more efficiently?
That's wonderful. Great. Thank you for sharing that. That's good to hear. How are you using AI inside EY to guide, client engagements? Are you using Microsoft's AI capabilities internally?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a lot of ways with respect to how we traditionally serve our accounts. But when we think about like on the consulting side, what are those things that are heavy human intensive scenarios where AI might replace it? So one of the interesting examples is when you do an application development project, you've got all the requirements that you create, then there's the user stories, and then you get into the application development. So obviously we're using GitHub Copilot on the application development side. I think we're up to 5 or 6 million lines of code at this point. But the really neat one is that we're actually creating the user stories using AI from the requirements that we're gathering. So that's accelerating times where maybe it took 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe a month to create all those user stories. That's happening in minutes because we're using AI to read what those requirements are.
That's fascinating. Amanda, how about you? Are there things that in Microsoft's AI stack that differentiate us, that you feel like are powerful as part of what you're doing inside EY?
I think it's really that you're focusing on the roles that you're going to be helping. So it's not so much about the agent itself, but what are the use cases and the problems that you're trying to solve? And it's based upon the individual role, whether that's a customer service agent or a sales representative. You're really thinking about what that role does and how we can help solve the problems that they have today in that area.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, last question. Maybe I'll come to you, Ryan, on this one. Like, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges in the AI space at the moment?
Yeah, many customers obviously want to take full advantage of AI in their workplace. But as they get going and they look at prototypes and POCs, they quickly understand that maybe they don't have an AI-ready data estate. And that is that first component in the journey. And then obviously then you have security that sits behind that, et cetera. And so I would say that, if I was to guide companies, I would say the first thing you need to do is take a look at your entire organization, where your data sits today and how many different systems does it take, or is it in today, and make sure that you have an AI-ready data estate to take full advantage of where we're headed.
And are there things that we're doing together that help customers on that journey?
Oh, absolutely. Everything that you guys are doing around the Purview product, how we work with your teams to go help customers on that early journey process. So our co-sell motions with your team, some of the engineering folks that assist us in the field. We've created some accelerators, like we have something called Everyday AI, which helps customers understand what it's like to go through this journey. So multiple components that help us through that.
That's super. Well, thank you both. I really appreciate having you here. It's great to get your perspective on what's happening in the market and the partnership together. So thank you both.
Thank you for
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.